Hello everyone, hello and welcome back to Upkalu Falls. And a fun fact, no one ever seems to wonder why this place is called Upkalu Falls. There's no Upkalus anywhere in the Shroud, or really, I don't think we really see them anywhere outside of Vilbran, do we? But fun fact, the reason this is called Upkalu Falls is apparently some Gridanian decided to try breeding Upkalus here, and I'm pretty sure they all died. Which is kind of macabre, but it is what it is, and I'm pretty sure that's why it's called Upkalu Falls. If anyone wants to confirm or deny that, go ahead, but I'm pretty certain that's why that is what it is. Oh, of course, that's right. I'd forgotten that we actually get all the eye level 90 AF gear from our level 45 and 50 quests now for our jobs, which is pretty handy. Which is actually pretty frustrating because before Heaven's Ward launched, I'd just gotten Ethys to 50, so I fucking missed out on all these. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yumichi wishes to share with you her thoughts on dealing with Tristan. Greetings, Grunty. Though it is good to see you, I am afraid I have yet to ascertain Tristan's ultimate objective. I know that he is cunning and brutal and will stop at nothing to achieve his purpose. As matters stand, we but chase after this man's shadow. Such a straightforward pursuit will, I believe, leave us ever one step behind. Our sole advantage is the treasure we possess that Tristan appears to covet. Eventually his desire will bring him out to us. Where and when Tristan will strike, I cannot say, but it is unlikely that he will be on a field of our choosing. Thus, I suggest we prepare for this inevitable conflict as best as we may. As fortune would have it, the ruins of Mordona may have provided us with a new source of strength. Word on the Suns is that a set of evokers' attire has been unearthed. Made during the reign of the Allegan Empire, these enchanted garments were soon for the exclusive use of summoners. I can only imagine the degree to which they will enhance your already impressive powers. The man supervising the excavation efforts of St. Coinix find, Rambrose, is a dear friend of mine. In light of our circumstances, I am certain that he will consent to a request that you be allowed to don the attire. Shall we pay him a visit? Alright, let's go see old mate Rambrose. Now this one always confused me because we have a quest to be chasing down our AF for every different job, right? At level 45, and we end up collecting them all over the course of level 45 and 50. Now, it's always made me wonder why they're so insistent that these specific items are so much better at, I guess, bringing out your abilities or channeling ether or whatever it is than anything else. I mean, other than the fact that they're obviously the superior eye level than anything we have at the moment. And I think the best job they do of explaining it is with Warrior. They say that there's actually all of these like inscriptions on it, which let you sort of channel the inner beast more efficiently. And I think that that's basically it. I mean, we can think of gear in the same way that we think of weapons, is that they're containing ether, they're helping us channel ether and store ether, and the AF gear in particular is, you know, specifically modeled and designed for specific jobs to channel specific kinds of ether. So that's what's going on there with the summoner, if that makes any sense to anyone. Anyway, Rambrose. Ah, Yumitra. I suspect you would make an appearance before long, and I presume this fine gentleman is the new summoner I've heard so much about. Yes, hopefully the first of many. Now pray tell me, Rambrose, has the discovery of an Allegan-made evoker's attire been confirmed? It has, truly an historical find. Then I would ask a boon of you, my friend. You recall the predicament of which I spoke. Our chances of survival would be greatly improved if you would consider allowing Grunty to wear the Allegan garment. Well, he is a summoner after all, and I must confess to no small degree of scholarly curiosity as the effects the attire will have on one with such the appropriate training. These finds are, however, the results of Much sweat and even a few tears on the part of our excavation team. It is a frustrating task at times, and I fear they will be loath to part with the garments without some measure of recompense for their efforts. Allow me, though, to offer solution. Metallic monstrosities of elegant construction known as mirror-knights have risen from the dig sites scattered across Mordona. Needless to say, they pose a dangerous threat to our excavators. I suggest you speak with my 3 field researchers and dispose of any such nasty hindrances to their work. I dare say they will then gladly surrender the pieces of the attire they hold. Once I have confirmed our dig site suitably empty of armored horrors, I will see you rewarded with the garment that I myself recovered from the ruins. Alright, that sounds fair. Now, which one of these is closest? Oh, I guess we're just doing them one by one. Alright. Now, the Mirror Knights, I believe we saw them in, well, we will see them, I should say, in Azazlar. And they're referred to as owl bears or bear owls or something. Anyway, the point being that they are chimeras. They're chimeras in the same way that, well, that like the chimeras are, for instance. And a lot of the Allagan monsters that were being made. A mirror knight lurks just over yonder. I can scarce think straight with that thing wandering about. Oh gods, it approaches. You know what? I probably should have thought this through and gotten out an Egi before coming into this. But that's alright, we'll make do. So what they're doing here is well, what they're doing at the Burning Wall, more interestingly, is they're sort of pouring out of the piece of Dalamud that's crashed into there. Some people were speculating before we worked out exactly what these were that maybe it was something about the fall of Dalamud that was kind of corrupting some local wildlife. But it turns out that they are actually sort of, I think they're partially mechanical. I mean, I know that they are mechanical, but I think that they are partially organic, is what I should say. If you have my thanks, now I might finally be able to concentrate on my task. If I'm not mistaken, you're in search of the Evoker's attire? Well, in search of its wondrous pieces right here. You're most welcome to it. Alright. Being lazy with that researcher's voice, but whatever. There we go. Waistcoat, excellent. Update gear set. Where's the next one? Next one around here. And the other interesting thing, right, is we see the Gigas around here. Since the Crystal Tower showed up, the Gigas have all been hanging around here, and I guess we've aggroed one now. We're gonna have to deal with this for a moment. What's going on there? Well, the Gigas are originally from Ablathia's spine, but there's some implications, particularly with some of the guild leads we do around here. They have these little statuettes, these little idols of the Crystal Tower that they carry with them. It seems that they worship the Crystal Tower, and that's made me speculate in the past that maybe the Gigas too were, if not Allagan creations, then certainly Allagan slaves that were used in the construction of the Crystal Tower, and that they've sort of, I guess, held some remnants of ancestral knowledge or memory about the Crystal Tower. Praise the gods! Rambro said that an adventure would be along, but please, you must destroy that horrid construction. So what's happened is that after the calamity, the Crystal Tower has sort of jumped up, and you can evidently see it from a long way away, and the Gigas that we see around here are taking a kind of pilgrimage. Alright, what do you got for me, you quivering potato? Thank you for eliminating the source of my recent nightmares. I do not ordinarily stutter so, you see, but abject terror has an effect on folk. Now I hear from your Major that you have need of this Allagan garment. I should be glad to see it put to practical use rather than shut away in some dusty vault. How good. That's not very scholarly of you, but all the same, I'll take it. Alright, let's put on some purity gloves. And we should have a few more. What do we still need to get? We need to pick up... I think we pick up the horn from Rambrose. So it's just going to be the booties. The wee booties. Now, for those of you who don't know, these bits of obviously Garlane scrap around the place are from the Agrius. And we can see Midgard are wrapped up in it over there. I'm just thinking for anyone who's maybe new to the game and hasn't gotten to the story where we sort of cover Midgard and isn't familiar with 1.0. So there was a battle, what was it, 15 years before the advent of 2.0, where the Agrius, which is the Garlane flagship, tried to invade Mordona. And Midgard rose from the lake to combat it, and they had an epic battle with the Dravanian horde, which ended up with both of them falling into the lake and blowing up. And that's what we can see. All these crystals and stuff isn't actually directly or exclusively from the Calamity. Mirror-Knights. Oh yes, they have become quite bothersome. I would be most appreciative were you to eliminate the creaking pest that has been plaguing me of late. See, it's not that scary. I don't know what that potato was whinging about. Yeah, so the devastation that we see around Mordona, it is partly from the Calamity. It is also partly from the Battle of Silvertear Skies and the fact that there was this massive ceruleum explosion when the Agrius and Midgard are both plunged into Silvertear, which is, according to sort of common Eorzean myth, supposed to be basically the heart of Hydaelyn. It's like the major wellspring of both ether and water and the first point of life on the planet. So that's why we have a ridiculous amount of crystal being produced from that explosion. And as a result of that incident at Silvertear, that's what first allowed the beast tribes to begin summoning their primals again, because suddenly we started seeing a massive amount of ethereal crystal appear all through Eorzea, which was previously very, very rare and very, very difficult to sort of build up a stockpile large enough to summon a primal, which is now, of course, a relatively simple task. Fascinating. I never thought I would be so fortunate enough to observe a conflict against an Allagan construction at such close quarters. This has been a deeply enriching experience. If the pride is to be my piece of the evoker's attire, then so be it. Price, I should say, not pride. I don't know why I can't read today. Alright. And those are our booties. So that's why we see so many scholars around Mordona, is, yeah, mostly for the whole Crystal Tower thing and the fact that there's lots of Allagan goodies around here, but also the fact that there's so much bloody ether and there's a lot of really exciting things to be researching for the Sons of St. Koinak around here. Although, once again, their primary... what is that on his belt? Anyway, we'll come to that in a second. Their primary focus is on the Allagan stuff. Ah, the champion of my research returns. With the ruins now free of Mirror-Knights, the excavation can proceed at a far more satisfying pace. Trembling in fear for one's life makes it astonishingly difficult to handle ancient artifacts that have a tendency to crumble into dust. You performed a valuable duty for us, Grunty. As promised, you shall have the Summoner's Garment uncovered by my own hand as your reward. Ah yes, Ymitra mentioned she would await you at Apkallu Falls. It seems that there was no doubt in her mind that you would succeed here. What is that? Is that a... I guess that's a wand of some kind. It looks like... So before Arcanists were in the game, in 1.0 there were... before Scholars are in the game, well obviously Arcanists weren't in the game either, but before Scholars were in the game, in 1.0 the NPCs that were considered Scholars carried these funny sort of looking steam-powered star things, and Rion J was actually one of them. And what Rambrose has got there kind of looks like one of them, except it's a lot smaller. So... I don't know. Anyway, let's put on our Evoker's Horn. So we can have a horn to go with our horns. God, they really do look silly. They've never not looked silly in any Final Fantasy game. But, oh well. Let's head back to Apkallu Falls, shall we? Alright, Ymitra, we've got nearly nearly a full set of our summoner's attire. Though, this was how the summoners of old were clad, well, more or less. It is unfortunate that the ruins had yet to surrender the final piece to the sons. These garments, aside from the colouring, they are identical to the garb Tristan wore. He will find no edge against you through his equipment. When next you face that murderous cad, victory will be decided purely by who is the more talented summoner. To that end, it is time you drew on your experience of defeating the primal Garuda. Yes, her aura of fickle violence is palpable upon you. It is daunting to imagine an Egi born of the Lady of the Vortex. Such unpredictable ferocity should serve you well. I will search for a suitably airy location in which to perform the Austerities of Wind. You, my dear summoner, must needs prepare yourself body and mind for the trials ahead. I shall be waiting. Awesome, and then we get all of our eye level 90 gear just like that. How good is that? Now I think that Austerities of Wind is actually a level 45 one as well, and we get Spur. Ooh, that's a handy cooldown. So we're going to be going with a feature-length episode again today, because a lot of you were saying like you really don't mind seeing the occasional half-hour one. And actually, now that I think of it, this one might actually go over a little bit, but we're going to do all the level 45 stuff at once. I sense Garuda's restless essence railing within the confines of your etheric channels. It is time we granted it relief with the Austerities of Wind. Thankfully, I already have in mind a location that well suits our elemental purposes. You are familiar with the floating city of Nim in Outer Lenothia. As you might imagine, the aspect of wind is entirely dominant in the area of those suspended isles. Pray make your way there as soon as you feel prepared. I'm quite excited to see this new Egi. Alright, let's go do that. Now, the floating city of Nim is one place that has always fascinated me, which isn't saying much because most parts of Eorzea do tend to fascinate me. But I was particularly looking at it when Heavensward was first announced, because we had the sightseeing log for the floating city of Nim, which says that it was basically torn from place by an over-aspecting of its wind crystals, that they were using wind crystals to have it sort of hovering above the ground, but most of it essentially took off and presumably going to be somewhere way up in the sky. And of course we are a long way south of the Sea of Clouds, but I was hoping that we were going to see some Nimian relics somewhere in Heavensward having taken off. No such luck. I mean, maybe we still will. Maybe they'll end up showing up as a future area with our airship voyages, maybe. Who knows? I think that would be pretty awesome to see. But no such luck yet. And Nim is, again, one of those, much like Gelmora, one of those ancient civilizations which we know very, very little about. Shall we begin? I assume that this is your third such experience. You have by now grown familiar with the steps of the ritual. Thus, as before, I would have you concentrate on shifting your etheric balance. Imagine the energy within you howling through your veins, an incessant gale of screeching wrath. Garuda's essence will only too eager to harness those raging currents and shape them into a worldly avatar. Once Garuda Egi has appeared, it falls to you to tame its fury. Alright, let's do it. Now the choice here is particularly obvious. We summon Ifrit in the Sigoli Desert because a lot of the ether that's going through the sand or whatever is fire aspected. But we literally have, all around us here, we have corrupted wind crystals. So there you go. And there's our Ruda. Alright, let's see what she's got for us. I mean, it probably would have made more sense to have our Titan Egi out at the moment, but no big deal. No big deal, we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine, I hope we'll be fine. I think it's interesting that at this point in the game, and I'm sure I dodged out of that one, right, okay, we got some plumes to deal with. Well, Ruin 3 is enough to deal with them. was that at this point in the game, everyone still thought of Garuda as the most powerful primal, which is now obviously nowhere near the case and hasn't been since 2.1. But it's sort of interesting to think of how frightening and how threatening Garuda appeared to everyone not long ago, and how goddamn overpowered the Warrior of Light has become since then. Holy crap. Someone was telling me the other day that I really ought to be using Titan for all of the things that I'm soloing as summoner, but I mean, that's just not really, I don't know, it's not really my style, it's not my steez. When I'm playing DPS, I'm playing DPS, you know what I mean? Alright, Supana and Sharada. But with that said, maybe it would have been a good idea because I'm kind of getting wrecked here, aren't I? Am I deceiving me here? I'm certain you summoned but one Egi. Well, that's alright because we've got that one. And this one. And one of these ones might be helpful right now. Energy drain, yep. No, we totally got this, you guys. We got this. Ain't need no Titan. Ain't no thing. It'd be nice if I could eye for eye myself, wouldn't it? But no such luck. It's alright. Aerial Blast, I'm gonna get behind you for that one. Yep. Excellent. There we go. Now I wonder if Tristan's gonna show up here. I can't remember whether he does or not. You learn how to summon Garuda Egi! Alright. We did it! Masterfully done, Grunty. Garuda Egi's power is now yours to wield. Your aptitude for the art of summoning has exceeded my highest expectations. I honestly could not have found a more valuable partner for my research. Let us return to Apkalu Falls. I am sure you must be exhausted after this ordeal. So now that we're done with our Arcanist quests, I think the last episode of Arcanists came out today as I'm recording this. Some people have been asking me about Summoner... they've been asking me about Thaumaturge and Conjurer, of course, because I have to be... Why the hell did I go to Nothica's Altar? That was really dumb. I think it's because I was just thinking of Conjurer. Yeah, they've been asking me about Conjurer and Thaumaturge, considering those are obviously prerequisites for Summoner and Scholar. I have recorded Thaumaturge up to level 15 already. And once we get Summoner to 15, I'm going to do the same for Conjurer, because I'm basically going to blast through the Scholar quests in one sitting. So for the people who are asking, yes, we are going to be seeing those, but I'd rather do all of the Thaumaturge ones and all of the Conjurer ones sequentially, so we don't have any big gaps in the story, so I don't forget what we're doing, and it's not too jarring for the people watching. So that's what's going to happen there. So I think that once we get this to 50, I'm going to do Thaumaturge up to 30. I might do Conjurer up to 30. And what else do I need? I need Raging Strikes. But I think Raging Strikes is only like level 3 or 4 or something. So I might not worry about that one yet. Anyway, I'm going to do a couple of other classes before I go from 50 to 60, just so I can have my my secondary skills. So that's what's going to happen for anyone who's wondering what's going on with that. Alright, Yamicha. With the addition of Garuda Egi, you now command 3 powerful avatars. As you have no doubt realized, however, each of these entities has a particular role in which it excels. For Garuda Egi, that role is unleashing magic to strike down distant foes. I must admit to feeling equal parts joy and apprehension at seeing at how faithfully the summoned being displays the original primal's volatile disposition. Experiment with your Egi allies, and the most effective use of their individual abilities will soon become clear. With such mastery of the art at your disposal, I shall almost pity Tristan when he next chooses to confront you. Before that time comes, however, I will endeavor to pierce the mystery of his motivations. May your discoveries bring you new confidence, Grinty. And we get ourselves a burr. Very nice. You learn a new summoning spell. When you have the Soul of the Summoner equipped, casting the... Yeah, okay. So, I want to put that on. Now, I think it's kind of interesting that these are summoner skills. Well, Spur is a summoner skill. Rouse is both summoner and scholar. Spur's a summoner skill. So, it's not an Arcana skill, and yet we still have a carbuncle for the icon? I don't know. I feel like Summoner's one of those things as well, is that particularly when you're new to it, all of these look the same. All these icons, Miasma 2, Bio 2, they all look the same. Particularly if you're colorblind, you're going to really, really struggle with those. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just me complaining for the sake of complaining. We are going to check out our Garuda Egi. I'm going to get us to level 50. And then we're going to do Scholar to level 50, we're going to do Thaumaturge and Conjurer and maybe a couple of other little things. And then we're going to go and get ourselves Heaven's Ward and continue our summoner all the way to 60. It's going to be quite a journey, so there we go. Why did I hit screenshot for some reason rather than that one? Very nice. All right, well, I'm going to give you guys your bloody wave. There you go. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio.